Welcome back to the new live version of the Dunwoody Dialogues. I'm Mark Galvin, your host, and we're always glad that you're with us today. Hopefully you're sitting down enjoying a wonderful meal that you ordered from one of our Dunwoody restaurants, and you get to join us for a little talk with our favorite guest today, and I'll introduce you to him in just a moment. We are streaming live on YouTube, Facebook, and LinkedIn. And we'd love to get your thoughts. So if there's something that you would like to share with us, just plug it right there in the chat. If there's anyone you think we should interview, also drop that in there. We would love to hear your feedback, and we'll follow up with you. This show is brought to you by Discover Dunwoody, and we're the official destination marketing organization for Dunwoody, which means we're funded by the hotel tax, and we were formed by the city. We serve our community by raising awareness about our hotels, our restaurants, our shopping, the recreation options here in and around in Dunwoody, because it helps the economy grow. So we're always trying to help businesses survive. We make sure folks go to our restaurants, so new restaurants always get a big shout out from us because they're always glad they are here. And you can stay on top of all of this by just following our social media. Our social media handles are at Discover Dunwoody, or go to our website. We are always offering all the things that are happening in Dunwoody on the website, discoverdunwoody.com. So for today's live broadcast, I would love to introduce all of you to a very special guest. He has spent 25 years shaping young lives through scouting, building a legacy that extends beyond his own time as an Eagle Scout to his children and countless other young people in our community. Please join me in welcoming Barry Deutsch. Barry, welcome.
Thank you. It's an honor to be here.
I am so glad you're here. We talked about your last name. I asked you before, does anybody ever pronounce your last name wrong? And it happens a lot. But you said it Hogan Heroes. There was a term that it makes it easy for people to remember your last name. Share that.
Sprechen Sie Deutsch. Do you speak German?
That's right.
And they used to say that. And so that was, so older people who watched Hogan's Heroes.
Sure.
A lot of people may not even know what that was.
Yeah.
So it was part of the culture then.
Yeah, Hogan's Heroes is a great show. I love that show. And you know what's interesting is they now stream all these old TV shows on their own channel. So it's 24/7. So we can always go and catch Hogan's Heroes and learn more about how to say Sprechen Sie Deutsch. Yeah. But so I'm going to call you Barry from now on. No more.
Please.
Don't have to worry about Mr. Deutsch. You are a longtime scout leader. You're also a retired business owner, and a Dunwoodian. Been here for a while. There's a couple things I want to kind of tease out here. First is, tell me about scouting, because it used to be Boy Scouts, but that name has changed. Explain that.
Yeah, so they've changed to Scouting America, and we serve both boys still, and we also serve young ladies.
Okay.
And we have two troops that we're associated with that our sponsor. One's for boys, Troop 477, and one is for girls, Troop 1919. They started in 2019, and the other 19 is based on the 19th Amendment for voting rights for women.
Oh, I love that.
And so, and they're doing great. And
how many young women, young ladies are involved in that?
There's about 15 or so in our troop, and some have already graduated. We have five that have earned Eagle, and they're tough. They're good. They're very, very nice. It's a great group.
They're doing the same thing the boys do.
Exactly the same exact requirements. Okay. Sometimes they can be a little bit tougher.
I can see that.
We had an incident at a High Adventure recently where they go out and do stuff, and we had sent 3 crews, 2 boys and 1 girl, and the girls' crew actually they were performed so well they were actually ahead of the game and wanted to come back to base camp a day early. And they radioed in. Base camp said, absolutely not. You have to go do this portage to this big lake, find a campsite, and come back on the day you're assigned. And so they did that, and they got to the big lake, and I think they passed like 8 campsites that were already occupied, and they had to keep paddling around until they found an empty campsite. And they added up their miles, and they were like 72 miles
Oh,
that they had
wow.
already paddled. And they said, "Oh, well, we want the 75-mile patch. We need to do 3 more miles." And they decide they're on this big lake. They'll just paddle around a little bit and get to 75 miles. And then one of the girls said, "If we can do 75, we can do 100." And they were all like, "You're crazy. You're crazy." And eventually one other girl said, "Okay, I'll do it." And then an adult did, and they were all in. They had dinner, went to sleep early, and their guide had been talking about overnight paddles. This is at the Boundary Waters at the northern border with Canada. And so they got up at midnight and started circling that lake.
Oh, my goodness.
And they ended up doing 100 miles.
I'll
And
be
they did
darned.
about 35 miles in that final 24 hours.
Unbelievable.
They were on the water, so
That is so
they
cool.
can accomplish a lot.
I love that. Now, you've been a scout. You were a
Yes.
scout yourself, so an Eagle Scout as
Eagle
well.
Scout.
Why are you, and I think you've shared a little bit of it by sharing that story, why are you so inspired by scouting to stay as engaged as you are?
Well, you see the benefit and the impact it has on kids. And I've had the honor of seeing some as Cub Scouts in elementary school and get to know them at that point, 4th, 5th grade, as they're starting to transition to the older program for middle and high school kids. And you see these kids come in and they're just a mess. They're, 5th graders, 6th graders, 7th graders, and it's kind of through that process and having the honor of seeing those kids graduate is and what they become and what they can accomplish. And in scouting, a lot of times we talk about, and people have the impression we do knots and first aid and all those kind of skill things, which is very important, and we do it. But what you see the kids really get out of it is their self-confidence, self-reliance, the ability to be resilient
Wow.
in this time when a lot of kids, have a problem and they just fold up. Where these kids they've forgotten something on a camp out. They've messed up and they've survived, and all that builds confidence and resilience and all those skills, and it develops their organizational skills. And a lot of these kids end up being the leaders in high school and so forth. And that's why if a young person earns Eagle Scout and they go through that process and they're learning project management skills, leadership skills, all those kind of things, that's why when they get in the working world and they have Eagle Scout on their resume, they're going to be more likely to get a job. If 2 people are equivalent skill sets, they're going to always get the job.
Because that experience is
because
so
their
valuable.
experience, and
Yeah.
they get a young person who's maybe leading the troop, does a 6-month tour as the senior patrol leader. They're leading anywhere from 15 to 45 kids. What age would it be when somebody is managing an organization where they have 45 people working for them?
That is, such so valuable.
And that puts them ahead later in life. They're more prepared for life.
I'm so impressed.
That
Well, you are involved in these 2 local troops that are right in the our local area here in Dunwoody. You got a big event coming up.
yes, we do.
The
Yes, we do.
Halloween Farm Festival, and it's on Saturday, October the 25th. It's from noon to 6 at the Donaldson-Banister Farm. Tell us about this event, and how long has this been a Dunwoody tradition?
So we started in 2013 having a Halloween festival at the Donaldson-Banister Farm. It's a city park run by Dunwoody Preservation Trust on the corner of Vermac and Chamblee-Dunwoody. And it's a wonderful festival. We have the whole field full of games that are appropriate for elementary school kids and younger. And we also have a petting zoo with goats. We have mainly goats, and they're friendly goats. And then we have crafts that they can do. We have a concession stand. There's a band operating.
Wow.
And then we have a trick-or-treat mystery adventure where the kids will go solve a problem that we have. Last year it was somebody stole the candy, the trick-or-treat, the Halloween candy, and they had to figure out who stole it. Actually, Dunwoody police were there, and they were all deputized and had their little badge stickers, and they went around and figured it out. This year, the park ranger let a woman that was cold into the house, and she ended up being a witch, a friendly witch, a nice witch, but she cast a spell, and accidentally, and all these historical figures from the farm have reappeared, and so she does not know the spell to send them home, but each of those historical figures, those spirits, know a piece of the spell, and so the kids have to go around and figure out what the spell is, and so that the spirits can go home. And they do that, and and the spirits so appreciate the kids doing that they give them Halloween candy, trick-or-treat candy as they go around. So.
Now, you said that when you first got to the Donaldson-Banister Farm that there was a real ghost. Come on, was there really a ghost?
So the property is known to be haunted. There's lots of stories. This is a very old historic home, and there's stories about Bibles levitating and stuff like that in the day, and
this is still happening.
Well, not that, but it's the first time I was on property. I went with the first time we did it. I went there in the evening because we were going to be there at night, and we wanted to figure out what we needed to do for lighting.
Okay.
And 3 adults went there, and we all spread out doing stuff. And as soon as it got dusk, we all came together. And afterwards, a few weeks later, we were talking, and everybody felt kind of something on the back of their necks, just we need to get together. But my daughter was young at the time when we first did it, and she loved going there with me, and she had just gotten her first cell phone with the camera. And she would go there and hang out and take pictures and with her new phone. And so one of the stories is there was a little girl in the front parlor that died of typhoid, and she was one of the spirits. So we were going to play on that as part of the tour, and they came in the front. The tour guide would be talking, and the front door would be behind them, and the spirit would open the door and wave to the people, and when he turned around, they'd close the door, that kind of routine.
Sure. But it was an actor.
It was an actor.
Okay, yeah.
And so my daughter was supposed to be one of those. Well, the Friday night before the event, my wife and I went to my son's football game. We came home, and she was distraught, and she said, "I can't do it." I was like, "You can't do what?" And she said, "I can't be in that house alone." I was like, "Why?" And she said, "Well, I was looking back at my pictures, and there's a picture of a ghost in it." And she said, "I was in the house. I was the only one there. I went outside. I took the pictures. I remember doing it. There was nothing on the windows. There's no curtains, nothing there. And there's this face in there, and I can't be in the house." And I said, "All right, well, bring me your phone. Let me see it, because I'm going to use my dad's superpower and explain away
dad's superpower. That's right.
Explain away this thing." And she brings me the phone, and I look at it, and I look at it, and I look at it, and my response was, "Don't tell any of your friends about this because I can't lose any more actors." And so she did not.
Wait, hold on.
A few other people saw it.
You're looking at the photo. What did you see?
It looked like an oblong kind of face, kind of like the movies in this window.
So literally in the window, it looked like it could have been a face.
Yeah.
Stop.
And I couldn't argue, and I went back and looked, and a couple other adults saw it, but it so terrified her having that picture on her phone. And she was 12 or 13. So terrified her, she deleted it. And that was before the days of all the storage things that we have now.
Oh, my goodness.
Yeah. So.
All right. Well, there you go. I mean, you got to go and see. Maybe this ghost will come back up.
But now at that time the property had really been abandoned. We did a lot of work just to make it safe to people be on the property. Now it's a city park and
it is
everything,
beautiful.
and it's very well kept. The spooky is gone.
Yeah, I mean it really is beautiful. So let's talk about costs. Is there a kids pack available, and what does that mean?
So yeah, it's free to come, and then there is a wristband for unlimited games, or you can pay 50 cents per ticket for each game.
Okay.
But we also, and there's a charge for a craft. There's a charge, or face painting is also a craft.
Okay.
And let's see, the petting zoo. But we do have a kids pack, and it saves a little bit of money because you get a free person to go with each kid on the tour, chaperone on the tour. And it's $20, and it includes some of everything. It includes the bracelet, the wristband for the games. It includes the petting zoo. It includes one craft, and includes the tour.
Oh, good.
And
I love that. So what are you doing with all this money? I mean, you're raising $1 gazillion. No, I'm kidding. You're raising some money, and that's the whole goal here.
Yeah.
It's a fundraiser. What do you guys do with the money?
So the purpose of the money and what we use it for is we want to make sure that every youth has the opportunity to participate in scouting. That is extremely important to us, no matter anybody's financial ability. And scouting to join is not very much compared to other kind of activities, but depending on what trips you do and things you do, some can be inexpensive. Something like a weekend camp out. We just did one and went fishing and went to a private fishing pond, and that was $10, I think.
Sure.
So that's not much.
Yeah, that's not bad.
But if you go on some of our bigger trips, skiing or mystery adventure or something like that, it can be more expensive, and there's other things involved. And so we want to make sure, so that allows us to reduce the cost for everybody, as well as give scholarships out so all youth can participate in our program.
I think that's fantastic, and they're learning so many wonderful things. It's certainly great that you want to remove, I should say, the barrier of, hey, I can't join scouting because I don't have enough money.
Right.
Come talk to us. We're developing this opportunity for everybody, and I think that's fantastic.
Yeah.
So even though you're retired, you do a lot of things. What else do you do besides scouting?
Okay. Well, it seems like when I retired, I need to go back to work full time because I'm busier now than I ever was.
Of course you are.
Working. But I do a lot of volunteer work, whether it's with Malachi's Food Pantry or Lemonade Days.
That's right. You are all over the place at Lemonade Days. I always see you there.
Yeah, the whole time.
That's right.
Operations, security, stuff like that.
Do it all.
And so there's just a whole variety of things, and just being involved in this, some of the city events.
Which is good. You're always at Dunwoody events. Are you always with somebody when you go to Dunwoody events?
Yeah, my wife is involved in the city a little bit.
she's a little
involved
That's
in
right.
The city of Dunwoody. So,
yeah. And so in case you don't know, Barry's wife is the mayor of Dunwoody. And it's how I found out that you do all this work. I was talking to the mayor about it, and I said, oh my gosh, we need Barry to come on and talk about everything he's doing with scouting. And I love that you did. I'm glad you found time, because I'm sure you're going to head off from here and go do something else. But for all the people that are watching that maybe they didn't realize really what scouting is doing today, because scouting's changed. It's changed over the last, decade or so, 5 years or so. share with everybody how they can get involved in scouting and what are the requirements. Are we, is an age thing? How does all that work, and then how can they reach out to you?
So scouting is great because there's room for scouting along with all kinds of other activities. It's not a season. It's not, and sometimes kids will be more involved at some times of the year and not involved at other times of the year. Like my kids all did sports and other things. So elementary schools, Cub Scouts, kindergarten through fifth grade. And then in fifth grade, second half of fifth grade, youth will transition to the older program, Scouts USA. And that, and we have two troops, one for girls, one for boys. The Cub Scouts is a family program, so families participate. So they're usually mixed.
Good.
And because every kid, parents go on the campouts. So so it's basically just when you are old enough, you join and participate. We're sponsored by Kingswood, so that's where we meet, Kingswood Church.
Okay.
And there's some other troops also in the area. Our Cub Scouts meet on Mondays. The boys meet on
Monday.
Pretty well, almost like sometimes like last weekend they had a camp out and they didn't meet on Monday.
I got you.
And so
in the summer also, or do you take summers off?
No, we do all year round.
Okay.
Yeah. So summer it's a little bit lighter. We do summer camp, a week at summer camp. We do high adventures in the summer too, so our older scouts can go on high adventure.
That's great.
So the older boys meet on Tuesdays, the girls meet on Wednesday.
All right. And what's the email? Somebody wanted to send an email to get more info.
info@troop477.com. So info@troop477.com.
All right. And there's a website for both troops. What's the website?
So the boys troop is troop477.com.
Okay.
And the girls troop is troop 1919, ATL.com.
Perfect. We will put all of these in our show notes, but if you're watching live, great ways to learn about scouting. This is a great thing for young people to get involved in when they're trying to, they need some confidence. And you shared so many stories. This has been great. You told me about young people going up and just buying their own food and never doing that before. They get all these great experiences.
It's always interesting to me to see like things that are very natural to us as adults.
We
don't even think about it. And when some of the young kids, when they come over to the troop, they go on their first camp out. Their parents aren't there, and we stop for a fast food lunch on driving back. And the kids, it's their first time that they're on their own. They've been to fast food places a lot.
Sure.
But parents are always paying. Or if they're with a friend, the friend's parents are paying. And all of a sudden, they have to go up to the counter, order by themselves, and pay for themselves. And I'll usually stand up there to watch or help if they need it. And it's amazing how many times the kid has a little Ziploc and they have all their money in it, and they just get nervous and they just dump it all out on the counter, and the cashier's pulling out the money and stuff. And so it's but that starts building confidence and self-reliance and those kind of attributes that you really want your kid to have.
Right. In a safe environment.
In a safe environment.
Yeah, that's good.
And I had a parent one time treat a kid because they had been so nice and got along so well with their kid. And I looked and I watched, and there was such disappointment on this kid that was being treated because they were so looking forward to being a big kid and buying their own food.
Yeah. Oh, I love that. Yeah. Well, I'm so glad you came by to, number one, teach us about scouting, what's going on with scouting today, and the holiday farm festival. So make sure you go check it out. Yep. So all of you, just quick highlight, It's the Holiday Farm Festival, Saturday, October the 25th from noon to 6 at the Donaldson-Banister Farm, which is at 4831 Chamblee-Dunwoody Road. Admission is free, but there are kickbacks to get folks involved in the other things that are offered. I love that you're doing this. Thank you for coming. Will you come back next year? We'll talk about it again then. So make sure everybody, because it happens every year, right?
Every year since
right,
2013, except for COVID year.
Except for that 1 year. All right. Well, Barry, thanks for coming.
All right,
it's so
you're
good to
very
see you. It's
welcome.
great to sit down and talk with you. I'm typically talking to your other half, but now I've enjoyed spending some time with you. This has been great.
All right. Well, thank you very much. Appreciate you being there. And you know, for parents, it's, you know, there's a lot of choices what your kids do and activities they're in, and I went through that choice and with my kids, and they did a lot of things, but the one thing about scouting that I found is it really, one of the basis of your decision should be what prepares my kid best for life, and I found that scouting really does offer that aspect of the skills like self-reliance.
I love it.
Self-confidence, social skills, all those things.
That's terrific. Well, there you have it. So, folks, if you're interested in getting your own young person involved in scouting, info@troop477.com is the perfect email. Barry, thanks again for being here. We appreciate you.
You're very welcome.
For the rest of you folks, this show is produced by Discover Dunwoody. Our director is Madison Holtz. She's back there behind the board, flipping the page and making sure everything looks and sounds great. We so appreciate all the work that she does. We know that by now the Dunwoody sticker is something that we love producing, and we want to make sure you have one on your car or your laptop or wherever. Maybe it's all over the hallway wall, but whatever the case is, we'd love for you to get a Dunwoody sticker. You can find these at City Hall, you can go to the library, you can go to NFA Burger, or just come right here to the worldwide headquarters of Discover Dunwoody. We'd be happy to give you a sticker. Thanks for watching us. Remember our social media at Discover Dunwoody. You can find us everywhere, or go check out our website, discoverdunwoody.com. We have all the events that are happening in Dunwoody. We're even highlighting holiday headquarters this year, so go there. We've got so much information. You'll be glad you did. Barry, once again, thanks for being here. We love that you're here, and we look forward to seeing you at the Halloween Farm Festival on October the 25th.
Well, thank you. Appreciate you having me.
Thank you. And to all of you, thanks for coming. Thanks for watching. Now, come Discover Dunwoody.